What's going on, my beautiful people? It's Will here, Flawless Exotic Creations, coming to you guys with another video. The last one did so well that, you know what, I said we're going to come back with another one. You know, we're sitting over here in the side of the bedroom. I'm going to knock this out before I attack my day. This is going to be kind of a part two, more of a dollars and cents on getting established. It's very, very important to get established, and personal opinion, get established fast. I'm gonna give you a couple scenarios. Again, this is our opinion. There's a million different ways to do the business side of ball python breeding. Ideally, I mean, it's one of them situations where, I mean, if you're looking at the business side of it, if you were rich and you know what to do as far as ball pythons and breeding and pairing and how recessives and incomplete dominance and everything and gene stacking and everything else works, I mean, in theory, in the perfect world, I mean, if you're a rich man, I mean, money makes money. That's just how it works. You can go out there and buy the highest dollared ball pythons in the game, preferably males. Get into it rather quick. Can start producing incredible animals right out the gate. You're going to receive so much hate from the community, unfortunately. It wouldn't be from us. I mean, I would praise you for going out on a limb and extending yourself to that extent. Believe me, we have within our own limitations. But for example, shout out to Miguel. That's one of those guys. He's taken his bumps and bruises along the way, but he jumped in a major way, and look at where he's at. So that's no shade. That's much respect to that man. And you know, we're not pocket watching for anybody. We want to support anybody doing positive moves in the industry and in life. But get yourself established and get yourself established fast. This is tailored toward more so the beginner breeders, you know, talking to ourselves. We have business minds and we just want to apply it out there, and if things are working for us in-house, we love to share them with the masses. This is not a secret. We're not trying to keep anything away. It's just, unfortunately, when you're dealing with life situations, and especially when you're dealing with breeding, a lot of people aren't even in our situation where this is a full-blown business. And you know, maybe if we had other things coming in, working a 9 to 5 and things that were actually putting food on the table, you would make decisions differently, as well as you would in your day-to-day life if every decision you made with your hobby that's also your business and your main business, you're not going to fly by the seat of your pants, is basically what I'm saying. So, dollars and cents. I'm going to be fast this time, guys. I'm going to be fast. This is my scenario. Audrey and myself, we put our heads together. We bumped heads several times in the whole planning of this, because if you've been following us for a while, you know we were going to start with 10 snakes. 10 snakes. Somehow 10 snakes turned into 250. Don't know how that happened, but we're here now. We've changed our business plan maybe 5 to 6 times. I think that's a low number. I think if you definitely want to stick to your business plan, but if things don't make sense, or if you can perfect it or improve it, you need to make changes. And relatively fast. If you know that there's a problem, you need to solve it. So getting things established fast. So we're gonna attack in this video that the common question for us beginners. I want to get into ball pythons. I want to be a breeder, small level or boutique style, hobbyist, enthusiast level. But what do I go with? We're not even going to say what projects and go into that detail, because man, this video will be forever. But we want to attack it along the lines of making a decision on a number, a good round number. We'll do 10. So we're gonna start with 10 snakes. Now, you have pros and cons to everything that you do. Are you gonna go out there and buy hatchlings? Are you gonna go out there and buy breeders? There's pros and cons to both sides. You could do a little bit of both, or one or the other. We had a live a couple weeks ago, actually, with Jason Amos, and I learned a lot from it. Some of the information I did already know, and I was happy. It was one of those, like, I knew that. But it's one of them situations where you have to take a lot of chances. But that's kind of life. So when you're looking at whether you want to go with hatchlings versus breeders, you want to think about your the care you're going to keep for these animals. Are you familiar with all life stages of everything that can happen? Sorry, guys. While being a keeper slash breeder, and also the cost involved. So not only purchasing, which we're not going to jump in the cost of actually buying the snakes, but we will jump into a little bit of the maintenance. So 10 snakes, ideally you would want a 2.8. A 2.8 means 2 males and 8 females. Ideally, that's what you will want to start with, in my opinion. Now, let's attack the feeding right away. You're not breeding your own rodents. So let's take a happy little median between hatchlings and smalls for our local area, and we'll just cap it at $1.50 across the board, even whether they're taking a mouse, a pup, a wean, or small. So 10 snakes at $1.50 a week for 52 weeks. It's gonna be 780. So $780 is going to take you to feed your collection of 10 snakes for the year. Now let's run a scenario, guys. If you bought all 10 snakes as hatchlings, you're going to pay that $780 for the year. Maybe your males are up to weight and up to size and up to age, but you're going to pay that $780 for an additional year because your females are not. Bare minimum, not saying that they're going to give you, clutches at 2 years old, but bare minimum, they're going to be roughly around 2 years old. So you run that same scenario, $780 for 2 years. You're going to be at $1,560 just feeding costs. Again, what I said, get yourself established and get established fast. Also, you have to worry about your day-to-day, your life. Things are going on in your life. Your life isn't going to take a pause for 2 years. You're involved in this hobby this entire time, in the industry this entire time. Things are changing. You may get kind of drained or kind of washed out with the day-to-day care. This is things that you definitely need to question yourself about, and that's why we want to put these videos out there. So 2 years, put out a little bit over $1,500, and now you're starting to breed, and you know what happens after that. You get some clutches, some you don't. That's going the hatchling route. You have a lot of people that say, hey, grow your hatchlings, buy hatchlings, grow them out. You have your pros. You get to learn your snakes. You get to learn, pretty much bring them up in the way that you keep, and iron out all your husbandry. Or you can go all breeders. Go out there and kind of get your feet wet and get all breeders. I wouldn't necessarily do that either. But in the grand scheme of things, if I had to pick one or the other, we would pick all breeders. That way, not only would you be feeding, let's say for instance that $780 for the first year, at least you'll yield clutches of combos that you're working within your collection, and you'll have holdbacks. So that being said, let's roll out our scenario for a real life example. So when we got rocking and rolling, it was supposed to have been 10 snakes. Obviously it's not. We started getting out there buying pretty much everything we wanted to get ourselves involved in as far as programs wise. Stranger, Monsoon, all of these things really, had forethought to push the boutique side of what we wanted to chase. Create some incredible animals, have some holdbacks, and hopefully be able to progress to the next level. That being said, you go down a rabbit hole, and I smile because that 10 snakes grew very, very, very fast. Let's just say we accumulated while we were buying around 80-ish babies, hatchlings, and around 60-ish breeders. We purchased the majority, probably 95% of our hatchlings getting started exactly in the combos that we wanted to see. You're able to get kind of a better price on those animals as their babies, and you can get exactly what you're looking for. The breeders, we had set a guideline on what we were not going to pay over, and for the most part, pretty much 100%, all of the breeders had to contain recessives, visual recessives. Some were hets, some were double recessives, and we got into it that way. The reason I feel like that was the best way to go about it, going 50-50 in a sense, is because you're still going to have that operating cost. So instead of having 140 hatchlings and feeding them, what's that? Let me get the calculator out. 140 hatchlings, the average, we will be paying $9,360 for that first year. Then you're going to pay that same price again for the second year. That's just feeding costs. That's not counting cocoa or anything else. So that's basic week-to-week operational costs on the feeding side. By doing it the way that we did it, because that same $18,720 in 2 years of pretty much growing out all those babies, getting them hopefully to breeding size and ready to roll, you have no clutches, you have no holdbacks, you have no revenue coming in, you're still in the red. Doing it the way that we did it, I think we circumvented a lot because we're able to brand ourselves, put ourselves out there. Like I said, as far as going back and watching, getting established, you want to basically put yourself out there even when you have nothing to sell. And hopefully getting out there in front of people where they get to know who we are and what we're about and what we're striving to do. And we want to push the envelope for all the projects that we're involved in. So picking up those breeders and being able to get breeding pretty much in year one, did the 60 breeders go for us? No. We had 43 clutches the first year, last year. In them 43 clutches, we had 251 babies. This was a major win for us because in having the 251 babies, we had 258 babies exactly. We had 41 holdbacks. So the holdback game, we strive for every one of our pairings. We were hoping to hit certain combos. Did we do that every pairing? Absolutely not. But we were able to hit it 41 times in combos that we needed. Majority of them being female. I want to say we probably only held back maybe 4 males. All the other 37 were female holdbacks that will get into the game in the years to come. Those are animals we didn't have to buy. Not only are those animals we didn't have to buy, but in our business plan and per availability, a lot of those animals we aren't able to buy. And the reason we aren't able to buy them is because people aren't selling them. If they've been created already, people are holding them back and keeping them for themselves. So they're not available on the market to purchase, a lot of those animals. So we're very, very happy about that. The other part that we're happy about is not only the 41 that we held back, we were able to sell 167 of those productions. Out of the 167 of those productions, we were able to yield a return of $72,000. $72,000 was way above our expected income of 50 grand for year one. Our major goal is to constantly climb every single year as our projects progress, programs progress. The numbers should progress as well. So that's the main goal of what we're trying to achieve with those numbers. So those numbers, that income comes back, but yes, we happy with those numbers, but we're still in the red. Believe me, we're few $100,000 still in the red. But we're super excited because if year one can yield that, Audrey and myself, we're firm believers that, like I said, we stated before, if you could spend $500,000 in a business startup, and even if you can yield 50 grand for the next 10, 11, 15 years, that's a major win. And still have your entire infrastructure once you break the even mark. You've done more than break even. You're definitely in the black. So the whole business plan is too in depth to kind of go into, and it kind of has a lot of twists and turns. But we definitely advise every single one of you guys, no matter how small your vision may be, write out a business plan. It'll keep you on track. It has checks and balances in there, or make sure that it does, to keep you on track and to keep you on target. So all that being said, we have now Animal. We've yielded an income or return on our investment. It's not the best, or it's not optimum. To us, it's better than what we thought it would be. We also have holdback animals that we weren't able to go out and purchase. So for us, it's been a win all the way around the board. So bottom line, if you ask us, should you buy hatchlings or should you buy breeders? Our opinion, our fact, our living fact of what we're doing right now, we would say buy both. We would advise you to go out and buy exactly the combinations you want. If they don't have them, or at a reasonable rate as a breeder, buy them as babies. Buy exactly the animals you want. Don't take any substitutions. Get exactly what you want, grow it out so that you can stay on target. After you get what you want, then you can go out there and see what's out there. Especially now, you need to go out there because this is a buyer's market. They have a lot of recessive animals out there, and things where, you know, even if you're not necessarily working the project right now, word of the wise, I would hope that I'm wise, you're gonna want to at least get your feet wet in these recessives, multiple different recessives. I mean, we have a lot of projects that we're out there. We're playing around even with the thought of getting into Sunset a little bit, you know, taking a lot of cues from Leviathan. Where we normally would buy big time males, you know, we probably wouldn't in that project. Not talking down about that project because it's right now shooting through the roof. But the main goal of what I'm trying to say is keep all your options open. So we don't think it would hurt our business model if we had, for instance, a hatchling Sunset female, maybe with a codom here or there, and put her in the tub and grow out and have her here and take pictures and kind of do videos on her for the next 2, 3, 4 years. And I don't know, maybe jump out then and do a stranger Wookiee clown Sunset Pied, you know, or throw DG in the mix. But basically the story I'm trying to put out there for you, or the vision I'm trying to put out there for you, is if you don't have the recessive in your collection, it's impossible to make the combo. So at least have those recessives in your collection, visual if you can, because down the road, that's the direction we're all going in. These quad recessives, I mean, we have a bunch of quad hets already. What you didn't know, it's much more difficult to hit a double visual from double het to double het than it is to hit a double visual from quad het to quad het. Matter of fact, you can hit 4 different type of visuals. I mean, it's insane. But check it out. Go on Morph Market, the calculator, put in quad het to quad het, and look at how much easier it is to hit a double visual with just quad het to quad het. Look how much easier it is to hit a triple visual with quad het to quad het versus the latter. Anyway, it's Will, Flawless Exotic Creations. We out.